And are you like one of the people who actually encourages? Because you know this as well as I of love
Mhm.
languages. Whenever we
Yes.
get stressed, of course, your heart races. You stop
Mhm.
breathing physically. Would you be one of the people that says, you know what, just lay a hand on that person and say, it's going to be okay,
Mhm.
to help them calm down?
Absolutely. Yes, and I teach actually a few different techniques to calm your central nervous system.
Would you mind sharing a couple of those?
Sure. So there's one that I have even done myself. Um, if I feel like a panic attack's coming on, or if I feel a trigger, or if I feel my anxiety getting really high, um, that one really simple one is to just close your eyes and put your hand over your heart and just breathe in for 5 seconds, and you feel your heart beating, and you focus on your breath and your heart. So you breathe in for 5 seconds. So that one helps.
Right.
Another one that really, really helps, and what this does is it takes your mind away from the trigger, whatever has triggered you. It takes your focus away. So this time, what I'm going to do is I am going to breathe in for 4 seconds. And while I'm breathing in, I'm going to say CALM, and I'm going to focus on my fingers and I'm going to focus on the letters. And that takes away, like I say it in my head as I'm breathing, and that takes away your focus on the trigger, your focus on the anxiety feeling, because you're breathing in slowly and you're focusing on your fingers. So it's almost like a brain pattern interrupt.
I actually like that very, very
Yeah.
much. I,
So you
uh,
can either spell love or you can spell calm.
I want to actually take it a step further and say that what you've just shown me should be actually taught in schools, because how many kids actually freak out because of the
Yeah.
excess amount of pressure that they have to go through, especially
Yeah.
nowadays where it's
Right.
virtual learning and it's half capacity in the classrooms. There's those plexiglass panes up, and
Yes. Yes. So that's
they
what I do.
can't
I
talk
teach these
with their
small
friends.
techniques just to help you regulate your nervous system and, come back to reality, because we get that high anxiety, and people who have panic attacks actually leave reality for a few moments.
I
Like their
suffer
mind.
from very awful panic attacks a lot of
Okay.
times. I
Yeah.
have to tell you, I used to be a radio broadcaster for 6 years. I've now left that industry for a while. And the reason being is there's too much pressure, because you seem like the person who is similar to me. Like, if you have something that you need to do, you have a routine in order to get it done. No one's going to tell
Yes.
you different. You know what works for you. You have
Yes.
literally thrown the foundation. Why do you want someone literally going off on your ear like this because they can't do their jobs, but they're the ones telling you how to do your job? And I'm just painting with a broad brush here. So you're stressed. You have to concentrate. And, there have come times in my radio career where people would tell me afterwards, you are speaking like at the speed of a typewriter, because, we can't make out one or two sentences of what you have said. And then afterwards, it came out that I had been suffering panic attacks.
Mhm.
And I think it also stems from, prolonged a prolonged period of trauma, from, trying to make sure that the pot was consistently boiling on the table when there was
Right.
only one salary coming in, dealing with 10 years of alcohol and drug abuse, and then afterwards having a bout of cancer, and not giving myself that time to actually process all of that, because you need to
Mhm.
process what has happened to you. And in correlation with PTSD, there's something called cancer survivorship, and I'll tell you full why that is. When you get the disease, you're preparing yourself mentally for the inevitable. It's the silent killer. But
Right.
when you get the diagnosis that you can either go into remission, or even long-term remission or complete remission, you don't prepare yourself for that as well. And then all of a
Right.
sudden you come depressed. And this was brought under my attention from someone in the entertainment industry who said, you know, you had these when his psychologist said to him, you've had these two bouts of cancer, you had the big operation, you had to get this cut out, but the moment that you got the all clear, all of a sudden you became sad. The reason why is you were expecting the
Right.
inevitable. You didn't give yourself permission to say, I want to live.
Right.
I'm going to fight with all my might. So
Right.
that in correlation with PTSD can be a culpable factor in today's society now. Sure, that might perhaps create the impression that, you know, do we need to become sissies because we need to be afraid of every single given thing? No, we just need to be a lot more proactive in how we
Yes.
treat ourselves first and foremost through self-love and how we treat others. I bring it back to the previous example where I said, you know what, you can be clinical and you can have all the book knowledge, but if you have the book knowledge and the street field experience, add those
Right.
together, you're a whole lot more effective in bringing that positive message across. You agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I have found for myself, it even helps like my credibility because not only am I a nurse with professional experience, I have personal experience with addiction and PTSD, which
Oh, you were
allows
an
me,
addict too.
yes.
For how long?
Yeah. So that's how I medicated my PTSD.
Oh
I
man, on
self-medicated.
opioids.
No, benzos. Well, first
Oh
I
my
started with the
stars.
Adderall. Yeah. Well, actually, my story, I actually, from the PTSD, I had a suicide attempt from suffering
Oh
in silence.
man, you never told me that.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think we really got dove deep into my story, but yeah. So I actually, from suffering in silence, I had a suicide attempt. And after that is when I got put on probably like 6 different medications, never having had a psych history and never have been on any psych meds or anything. But after that happened, that's how they medicated the PTSD. They put me on 6 different medications. And I was really like zombied out. I didn't know like
I
what
just
day
wanted
it
to say
was.
that's what Benzedrine does to you.
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, I was on like Adderall to be awake. I was on Xanax to go to sleep. They just loaded me up with just so many meds.